Hello and welcome to today's video. I recently took a trip to Seoul, South Korea, and with me brought my Mamiya 645. And today I'll be sharing with you all of the photos that I took, and in tandem with my Mamiya 645, I also brought along my Olympus 35 RC, which is an impressively small 35mm rangefinder camera, and finally my Canon R5, which I'm filming on now. This trip consisted of visiting Tokyo first and then Seoul, South Korea. You can go ahead and watch the other half of the trip after this video. Well, our journey begins in our Airbnb in Seoul. And on the 20th floor of this giant building, we had a beautiful view overlooking the Han River, which is a gorgeous and very popular river that travels across Seoul. And to end the day, we went and got some dakgalbi, which is a combination of marinated chicken, veggies, rice cake, noodles, and it gets all fried up. And our waiter made a cute little heart out of her food. So cute. And the next morning, I took so many pictures. We made our way to the Gyeongbokgung Palace. And on our way to the palace, there's this statue of the person who is considered the creator of the Korean alphabet. And in front of the statue is where I took this image. Now, to most people, this may not seem like anything special, but I just found this subject super fascinating. Okay, so imagine you're in some densely populated city, you know, New York, LA, you know, wherever you are. Just think city. When's the last time you saw someone clean the ground? Never. Never have you seen this happen. For those of you who have been to Korea or Japan, you'll know what I mean, but everything is just so clean to the point where workers are there to clean the ground. And again, it might not seem like a very interesting or fascinating subject, but I just loved showing a little bit of the contrast to what we expect of tourism here in the US. And that's what led me into taking the shot. And we continued on our way toward the palace. And here is a pro tip. For entering, we rented some hanbok, which is some traditional Korean attire where you can dress up as royalty or royal guards. It's really fun. But my pro tip is if you're ever visiting this palace, you actually get free entry if you're wearing hanbok. It's a fun way to immerse yourself and sneak past the lines. Here is a lovely shot of my two wonderful sisters. And unfortunately, I botched this one somehow. Whether it's user error, and it probably is, and what it seems like to me is that this entire roll seems to be severely underexposed. Either that, or it could have been the effects of the X-rays. Either way, someone smarter than me, please comment down below what you think the issue here was. It came out so flat and grainy, almost no colors coming through, and it somewhat ruined what could have been a delightful memory to have, but it's still a nice image nonetheless. And immediately after that shot, I took one of my favorite photographs I've ever taken. There was this cute little family looking out across the river, and I raced to hurry and take this shot, and then me, noob move, I didn't have my camera on, and so I missed the original image that I had lined up, and frantically scrambling to get the settings and guessed the focus and took this shot. And easily has been one of my favorites that I've ever taken. There's just so much that we can unpack here. This lovely little photograph of this cute family, all wearing matching pumpkin hats and carrying balloons, just looking across this beautiful view. I love this shot so much. At some point in 30 years, when I feel qualified to make a photo book, this one's going in there. Compositionally, I love this one so much. Somewhat accidentally got it in focus after, you know, messing up my first attempt with not having the camera on. To me, it's a miracle that anything had come out. And then on top of that, it was this gem. Definitely one of my favorites. As we continued wandering around the palace, I then saw this scene and quickly took this shot. And this one I actually didn't love at first, but the more I looked at it, the more details I noticed and the more I came to love it. Here is this toddler dressed up in the Korean hanbok, motioning forward to someone that you can't see. But as you continue to look, you actually see the shadows of the parents who are also dressed up in hanbok, and you can tell because of the unique shape of the shadow from the hat, which is also a piece of the hanbok attire. So I figured I'd throw this one in there. The next day, we went and visited one of my aunts, and I grabbed some quick shots while we were in this little fish market. And despite me shooting quite a bit of photos here, having a 400 speed film in this situation just wasn't enough light, and I ended up with far blurrier photos than I would have wished for. So of them, here are the two salvageable images. Afterward, we went and visited a Buddhist temple, and here I also shot quite a bit of photos on my Olympus 35 RC. This image I was so excited for. I'd lined up this very nice composition, and the second I was about to take the picture, a monk had walked perfectly into frame in the perfect spot, and I managed to capture it. The only thing that I wish was different here were all these images were just slightly at too slow of a shutter speed, and they are just a tad blurry due to that. But, you know, that's film.
This cat is a monk. Yep.
Afterward, we crossed the street to a mall, and this mall has a very unique library inside. And after the mall, we headed over to Yeouido Park, which is a lovely little area right by the Han River where you can rent some bikes, ride along the river, get some delicious street food. It's a super fun time. And here I finished off the rest of my 35mm film roll. And on our last and final day in Seoul, I wanted to go ahead and finish off the remainder of all of the rolls of film that I had. This shot. I am both shattered and disappointed and but also grateful in a way, and here's why. If you've seen the Tokyo video that I made, you'll know that quite a few images have these crazy light leaks, and the lab that I was using is actually to blame because how they would load it into the cartridge would expose just enough of the very first frame that I would take. And this happened to be the first frame, but luckily I did take some extra shots on my Canon R5. So that image was taken from our Airbnb, and being on the top floor, the 20th floor of this building overlooking the Han River, we had an incredible vantage point, and that's how I was able to take some of these beautiful images overlooking the street. And this image, I got super lucky, but I wanted to dial in my shutter speed to capture some motion blur, hoping for something interesting to happen below. This bright yellow vehicle entered my scene, and I was able to snag this shot. So I've been to Korea dozens of times, and as I am Korean, obviously it makes sense why I'm visiting so much, but I love it. And of course I'm biased, but I love it, it's great. But this trip was the first time that I've shot Korea on film, and it's been one of my favorite experiences with this medium that I've ever had. I got some amazing images that I will treasure forever. So a lot of these images are really special to me. Being able to take the somewhat new process and perspective to a place that's so familiar earlier, was both refreshing and, like I said, very special to me. And if anything, this trip has taught me always continue to bring film cameras to Korea. Thank you for allowing me to share these images with you. If you like this video, please like it. It actually makes a huge difference. Comment down below if you had any favorite images. Do not forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. We made our way to the Gyeongbokgung. I'm Korean. This should not be this hard to pronounce.